Smart men know one important truth. Their actions determine their destiny, their successes, and most importantly, their relationships with women. What separates a wise man from those who fail time after time in relationships? It's the ability to recognize mistakes and avoid them. But there are things that even the smartest man shouldn't do in relationships with women. And today we're going to talk about 7 of those things. Things that destroy trust, understanding, and love, even if the intentions are pure. Many men believe they are doing the right thing, thinking their actions are a display of strength and confidence. But sometimes it's what feels right that causes problems and misunderstandings. It's important to realize that a man's strength lies in his ability to conduct relationships with women based on respect and wisdom, not control and dominance. Have you ever wondered why some men seem unshakable in relationships and others ruin them? It's not just luck or charm, it's a deep understanding of what not to do with women, what not to say, what not to impose. And this set of principles can be the foundation of a successful relationship. Women notice much more than you might think. They sense when they are disrespected, when their opinions are ignored, when they are taken for granted. And if a smart man doesn't learn to avoid these mistakes, even the strongest relationships can fall apart. Today we're going to break down 7 things smart men should never do to women. Because knowing these principles won't just improve your relationship, it will make you stronger, wiser, more confident in yourself and your partner. Stay tuned to the end, and you'll learn how these simple rules can completely change the way you see love and relationships. It's more important than it seems. 1. Don't try to control her life. Control is a trap that even the smartest men can fall into. It seems like a simple form of caring. After all, when you try to control her choices, decisions, or environment, you think you are doing it for her good. However, this is a dangerous misconception. Control, even with the best of intentions, always destroys a relationship because it robs the partner of her sense of freedom and respect for her person. When a man seeks to control a woman, it becomes a manifestation of his insecurity. He is afraid that without control something will go wrong, that she may do something that does not correspond to his ideas. But it is important to understand. She has her own life, her own desires, and her own independence. And as soon as you begin to invade her personal space, trust begins to melt. And here it is worth asking yourself, do you want to be a source of support and inspiration or a cause of suppression of her personality? Every time you tell her how to act, every time you follow her decisions and try to impose your way, you lose not only her respect, but yours as well. A man who is confident doesn't need control. He allows a woman to be herself. Smart men realize that the best way to maintain a healthy relationship is trust, not control. After all, trust strengthens, while control destroys. Many men make the mistake of thinking that their partner must follow a certain image or standard they have made up for her. But women sense this hidden manipulation, and although they may not talk about it directly, resentment builds up inside them. It grows and eventually explodes, destroying a relationship that could have been saved with a simple understanding. She is a person, and her choices are just as important as yours. A smart man never tries to change or mold a woman to his ideals. He respects her opinion, her desires, and her freedom, because he understands that true relationships are built on respect, not control. When you allow a woman to be herself, you not only build her trust in you, but you give her space to grow and develop around you. And that, in turn, makes you stronger as a couple. Stoicism teaches us to accept reality as it is and to act wisely. A relationship is not a battlefield where you have to impose your will. It is a union of 2 free people who respect and support each other. A smart man realizes that controlling a woman is ultimately a struggle with himself, a struggle that cannot be won. After all, if love has to exist under control, it is not love. Let her be herself. Give her the freedom to choose. This is not a sign of weakness, but rather a sign of true strength and wisdom. A woman will appreciate your confidence that you trust her decisions. You will become a source of inspiration for her, not a cause for stress or dissatisfaction. And remember that a real relationship is built on mutual support and understanding, not on coercion or manipulation. You should not be afraid of her independence. On the contrary, you should be glad that you have a man with you who can make decisions, who is confident and able to go his own way. This is the power of a smart man. To support, not to limit. Instead of trying to control her, you should focus on becoming someone she wants to share her life with. Every time you think you know what's best for her, stop and think, can that choice be her own? A wise man is not afraid that his partner can make her own decisions. On the contrary, he is proud of her ability to do so. Because true intimacy occurs when both partners can express themselves freely and remain true to their nature. Control kills love, and trust is what revitalizes it. If you want to build a relationship that will last, you must give up the need to control every step. You must learn to trust and respect her freedom. This will not only free her, but it will free you. You will become more confident, more powerful, and your relationship will be built on a solid foundation of trust and mutual respect. After all, a smart man knows that control is an illusion. The only thing you can really control is your own actions and reactions. So instead of wasting energy on trying to control another man's life, channel it into becoming the best version of yourself. This is exactly what women appreciate. A man who is confident and doesn't need control to feel strong. Let her be free, and you will see how it will change your relationship. Instead of trying to adjust her to your standards, grow together. Instead of control, support. Instead of doubt, trust. This is how smart men build their relationships that are based on true strength and wisdom. 2. Don't ignore her feelings. One of the most serious mistakes a man can make is to ignore a woman's feelings. In a relationship, it's important to realize emotions are the foundation of trust and intimacy. And when you ignore or devalue her feelings, you undermine the foundation of your relationship. A smart man knows that her emotions matter, and instead of dismissing them, he learns to understand, accept, and support her. Often men think that the best way to deal with their emotions is to simply ignore them. In stressful situations, they prefer to focus on solving the problem rather than reacting emotionally. But it works differently with women. It's important for them to have their emotions heard and understood, so that their experiences aren't devalued by phrases like, "You're overcomplicating things," or "It's not important," because it's important to her. When you don't respond to her feelings or consider them insignificant, it makes her feel lonely and misunderstood. Deep down, she starts to think that her emotions don't matter to you. And that can be the beginning of a breakdown in a relationship, even if everything looks calm on the surface. Smart men understand that emotions are not a problem to be solved. It's a bond that needs to be strengthened. To build a strong relationship based on trust, you must learn to listen to her feelings, not ignore them. When she shares her feelings with you, be attentive. Don't try to find a solution right away. Just let her know that you hear her. Sometimes what a woman needs is not a solution, but understanding. She wants to know that you are there for her and that her emotions are important to you. Stoicism teaches us to maintain inner calm despite external circumstances, but this does not mean that we should ignore the feelings of others. A smart man uses his stoicism not to brush off emotions, but to be a support in difficult moments, so that his confidence helps his partner feel safe around him, knowing that she can open up and express her emotions without fear of judgment or indifference. When a woman feels that her emotions are not ignored, but accepted with understanding, it creates a deep connection. She begins to trust you even more, knowing that her feelings are important to you. And in return, she opens up more, making your relationship more sincere and stronger. This is what a smart man does. He doesn't just react to words, he hears the emotions behind those words. But what does a man do who ignores his partner's feelings? He creates a wall of misunderstanding between them. With each unspoken emotion, this wall gets higher. And one day this wall may become too high to overcome. So if you want to build a deep and long-lasting relationship, you have to learn to understand her inner world. It's important to remember that a woman's emotions are not something irrational or incomprehensible. They are an expression of her experience, her inner world, and how she perceives you in your relationship. If she feels hurt or disappointed, even if it seems insignificant to you, it's important to her. And if you ignore it, you could lose her trust. A smart man isn't afraid of emotions. He realizes that ignoring them only increases tension. Instead of avoiding them, he accepts them as part of the relationship. This doesn't make him weak. It's instead a sign of strength to be willing to face emotional difficulties and to support his partner when she needs it. It's hard for many men to realize that they aren't always required to solve a problem. Sometimes the best help is just being there to listen. Women appreciate this more than any practical help. being supportive when she's stressed, showing empathy when she's sad, sharing joy when she's happy. That's what really strengthens a relationship. The point is that a woman wants to know that you are not just there physically, but also emotionally. She wants to feel your participation and readiness to share her experiences. And here it is important to remember. A smart man understands that emotional support is not a weakness. It is the basis of real intimacy. The more you are able to support her emotions, the stronger your relationship will become. Emotional connection is an area where many men fail because they underestimate its importance. But this is what makes a relationship truly deep and meaningful. So if you want to build a strong relationship, never ignore her feelings. On the contrary, learn to listen and accept them. After all, this is the power of a real man, to understand and respect her inner world. Showing attention to her feelings is not just a way to avoid conflicts. It is the key to building a relationship in which there is mutual understanding, trust, and intimacy. And remember, the more you respect her emotions, the more she will trust you and share her thoughts and feelings with you. And this is the foundation for a truly strong and long-lasting relationship. 3. Don't try to change her. Wisdom lies in accepting people as they are. And this is especially important in relationships. One of the most common mistakes men make is trying to change a woman. They may think they know what's best for her, or they may try to make her conform to their ideal. But smart men realize this is a fallacy. You can't change a man unless he wants to. And even if he does, it has to be his own choice. Trying to change a woman is a path to disappointment. When you start pushing her to be different, you are sending a message that she is not good enough as she is. This can be expressed through criticism, comparisons, or even subtle hints. But as soon as a woman feels that she is being tried to change, resistance starts inside her. She feels the pressure that destroys not only her confidence but also your relationship. A smart man knows that acceptance is the key to harmony. It doesn't mean that you should turn a blind eye to her flaws or ignore her problems. It means that you accept her as a person, with all her peculiarities, weaknesses, and strengths. Instead of trying to remake her to fit your ideal, you should learn to see her as a unique person with whom you can grow together. A woman should not feel that she has to change for you. On the contrary, she should feel that you love her as she is. This gives her the confidence and freedom to be herself. And the more she feels that you accept her, the more she will grow and develop with you. It's a paradox, but when you stop trying to change her, she becomes willing to change herself, if it is necessary for her own growth. When a man tries to change a woman, he eventually encounters her resistance. This creates tension and conflict that could have been avoided. Instead, a smart man focuses on acceptance and support. He knows that his role in a relationship is not to become a teacher or a fixer, but to be a partner. To be someone who supports her, who helps her grow, but does not force change. Stoicism teaches us that we cannot control other people. We can only control our own actions and thoughts. So instead of trying to change her, you need to work on yourself. You need to become an example of how change can happen through personal growth, not through coercion. Women sense this. They are drawn to men who inspire them, not try to conform them to their standards. Trying to change a woman often comes from insecurity. A man may be afraid that she will not meet his expectations, or that she will not fit his lifestyle. But here it is important to understand. If you chose her with all her features. And if you cannot accept her as she is, maybe the problem is not in her, but in your expectations and standards. Men who are confident in themselves don't try to change their partners. They realize that true strength and wisdom lies in supporting her growth rather than adjusting her to their expectations. This creates a space of trust and freedom where both partners can grow and evolve. Instead of spending energy trying to change her, they channel that energy into becoming better versions of themselves. When you stop trying to change her, you become free. Free from pressure, expectations, and disappointments. You start to see her for who she is and appreciate her uniqueness. This not only makes her happier, but also strengthens your relationship, because now she knows you love her not for what she could be, but for who she is right now. This is where the wisdom of a smart man lies. He realizes that his role in a relationship is not to dictate how the other person should be, but to support and inspire. This not only makes the relationship more harmonious, but also frees both partners from pressure. When you accept her for who she is, she begins to feel that it is possible to be herself around you without fear of being judged or criticized. After all, trying to change another person is a fight that can't be won. Love is not about wanting to remake someone to your ideal. It's about acceptance and respect. And the more you accept her for who she is, the stronger your relationship becomes. A smart man knows this and acts accordingly. Instead of wasting time trying to change her, he builds a relationship based on respect, acceptance, and support. Accept her as she is. Support her growth, but never try to adjust her to your expectations. This will not only make you both happy, but also create space for true love and trust. After all, true love is not about control or change, but about acceptance. 4. Don't be overly jealous. Jealousy is the enemy of trust. When a man lets jealousy rule his actions, he not only shows his insecurity, but also destroys the foundation of his relationship. A smart man knows trust is the foundation of everything. Without trust, any relationship becomes fragile and strained. Jealousy is born of fear. Fear of losing control or being rejected. But if you constantly suspect your partner, it doesn't make you stronger. It only proves your insecurity in yourself and in your relationship. A confident man doesn't control his woman's every move because he trusts her. He knows that true intimacy is built on freedom and understanding, not on suspicion and restrictions. When you begin to be overly jealous, you send your woman the signal, "I don't trust you." This can be expressed in constant questions about where she's been, who she's been hanging out with, or trying to restrict her freedom. This kind of jealousy not only destroys her trust in you, but also makes her feel like you don't respect her. A smart man realizes that jealousy does not solve problems. On the contrary, it creates them. When you are too jealous, you put pressure on your partner, and at some point she may get tired of this pressure. She begins to feel trapped in a cage, and a relationship built on control and suspicion can never be truly strong. Stoicism teaches us to control our emotions. This is especially important when it comes to jealousy. A smart man learns to manage his fears and emotions so he doesn't let them destroy what he values. Instead of trying to control his woman, he focuses on building trust and mutual respect. Remember, a woman wants to be with a man who is confident. When you're overly jealous, you show your weakness. A smart man doesn't waste his energy worrying about what she can do or who she can socialize with. Instead, he focuses on making their relationship so strong that she has no reason to look for someone else. Jealousy is not a defense. It's a poisonous feeling that gradually destroys any relationship. If you truly value your woman, you won't try to control her every move. You'll trust her and give her the freedom to be herself. That's the foundation of a healthy and strong relationship. After all, a smart man realizes that love is not about control. It's about freedom and trust. The more you trust your partner, the stronger your relationship becomes. When you let go of jealousy and let her be herself, she will appreciate you and your relationship even more. 5. Don't pause your life. When we start a relationship, often all our energy is directed to our partner. We want to take care of her, be close to her, share every moment of her life. This is normal, but a smart man understands. You cannot completely dissolve in others and forget about yourself. You cannot put your life on pause for the sake of the relationship, no matter how it may seem right at first glance. You can be passionate about your woman, her interests and desires, but it should not completely absorb your own personality. You are not just a companion in her life, you are a separate person with your own hobbies, goals, and dreams. When you forget this and start sacrificing everything for her, you not only risk losing yourself, but also create an imbalance in your relationship. After all, harmony in a relationship is a balance in which each party remains true to itself, supporting each other, but not forgetting about its own development. Many men, entering into a relationship, make the mistake of thinking that in order to be a good partner, you have to sacrifice your interests. They begin to avoid their usual hobbies, stop spending time with friends, leave their dreams in the background. They think that this will make their woman happier, but in reality, everything works differently. A woman does not want to see next to her someone who gives up his life for her. She wants to see a confident, independent man who continues to live his life to the fullest, even being in a relationship. When you put your interests on pause, it doesn't make you more attractive. On the contrary, it causes you to lose your energy, your enthusiasm, the spark that makes you special. You become dependent on the relationship, and it causes you to lose respect. It's important to remember that your partner will admire you if you remain who you were before the relationship. A man who values his life, his goals, and is not afraid to move toward his dreams. Stoicism teaches us to maintain balance in all aspects of life. This applies to relationships. A smart man understands his happiness does not depend on a woman. His satisfaction comes from within. When you allow yourself to forget about your own goals and desires, you begin to build your life around another person. But this leads to emotional exhaustion. You become dependent on what the other person gives you, and this will never lead to harmony. Remember, your life is your responsibility. Your dreams, goals, and hobbies shouldn't be left behind just because you're in a relationship. On the contrary, you should continue to develop and grow as a person. And this doesn't just make you happy, it strengthens your relationship. When a woman sees that you have your own life, your own interests, she starts to respect you more. This creates a healthy dynamic where both partners remain themselves and support each other in their aspirations and dreams. In a relationship where one partner puts their life on pause for the sake of the other, a distortion occurs. The man who gives up his life begins to lose his attractiveness. This happens because he stops developing, stops being interesting and active. And the woman who sees this gradually loses interest. She begins to feel that the relationship has become a burden rather than a source of joy. A smart man knows, for a relationship to be strong and healthy, both partners must continue to live life to the fullest, sharing their successes and supporting each other. It often happens that a man consumed by a relationship loses his friends, his hobbies. He stops meeting those who inspired him, who supported his growth. He begins to think that for a successful relationship you have to give up everything else. But this is a mistake. A smart man knows. True love doesn't require sacrifice. It doesn't require that you give up your life for your partner. On the contrary, it inspires you to do more. It motivates you to keep moving forward, to stay active and motivated. When you keep doing the things that inspire you, you become happier. And this happiness carries over to your relationship. When you are happy in your life, you can give more to your partner. You become a source of energy and inspiration rather than a person who is dependent on the moods of another. A woman will appreciate you more if you stay active, motivated, and independent, because a confident man will always be respected and admired. In the end, a smart man realizes that putting his life on pause for the sake of a relationship is a way to destroy both his personality and the relationship itself. Instead, he continues to develop, achieve his goals, and inspire his woman to do the same. He knows, only in such a dynamic can a relationship be truly strong, based on mutual respect and support. 6. Don't try to control her feelings. One of the most common misconceptions men have is trying to control their partner's emotions and feelings. Smart men realize that this is not only impossible, but destructive to the relationship. Feelings are each person's personal space, and trying to control them is like trying to fight the wind. It's unhelpful and leads to conflict. Instead of trying to change her emotions, a smart man accepts them for what they are and learns to interact with them with understanding and respect. When a man tries to control a woman's emotions, he shows his insecurity. This desire for control may come from fear of loss or feelings of insecurity. You may try to suppress her anger or convince her to be happy when she is feeling sad, but ultimately such attempts have the opposite effect. The woman will begin to feel pressured that her emotions are unacceptable, that she can't be herself. This breaks trust and creates distance between you. A smart man knows that feelings come and go. They are like waves on the sea. They can be turbulent or calm, but are always subject to change. Trying to hold on to or change feelings is fighting nature. Instead, you need to learn to accept them and support your partner when she is having a hard time. Stoicism teaches us to maintain our inner calm regardless of external circumstances, and this applies to relationships. Your strength as a man is not in controlling her emotions, but in being able to maintain balance and understanding when she is going through difficult moments. It is important to remember that a woman is not looking for a controller in you. She is looking for a support in you. Someone who can listen to her, support her, and help her find her balance. A smart man knows that his job is not to fix her feelings, but to help her through them. When she is feeling angry, anxious, or sad, you should not try to fix things quickly. Instead, just be there for her. Let her express her emotions without judging or trying to change them. A relationship in which a man tries to control a woman's feelings is doomed to fail. It turns into a battlefield where everyone is out to prove a point. Instead, a relationship should be a safe space for both partners, where everyone can be themselves without fear of judgment or attempts to change. A smart man creates this space. He gives his woman the freedom to express her emotions, knowing that it's not a threat to him or their relationship. When you accept her feelings, even if they are negative, you show your strength. It's a demonstration of your confidence in yourself and in the relationship. You're not afraid of her emotions, you don't feel threatened by them. You know that they are temporary states that will pass. And the most important thing is that you stick around despite it. The woman will feel your support and trust in you will increase. Controlling your feelings will not lead to anything good. On the contrary, when you let your woman be herself, it creates depth and intimacy in the relationship. Instead of fighting her emotions, learn to accept them. Be a man who knows how to stay calm, even when the storm of emotions overwhelms her. This will make you a reliable partner she can rely on. Stoicism teaches us to accept the things we can't change, and other people's feelings are one of those things that are out of our control. A smart man knows this and uses this knowledge to build stronger and more trusting relationships. Instead of trying to change his woman, he accepts her as she is, with all her emotions and experiences. This makes him stronger, wiser, and more confident. In a relationship, it is important to remember that you are a team. And if you try to control her every move and every emotion, you will lose that sense of partnership. Instead, learn to be there for her when she needs support. Don't try to fix everything. Just be with her, sharing her joys and sorrows. This is how a true, strong and trusting relationship is built, where each one stays true to himself and supports the other on his journey. 7. Don't promise something you can't keep. One of the most dangerous actions in a relationship is making false promises. Smart men understand that their words are their honor, and every ill-considered vow can be a source of trouble. Promises are commitments you make, and if you're unable to keep them, it breaks trust. In relationships, as in life, a man's word should be harder than a rock. When you make promises, whether it's something as simple as a weekend trip or as important as a future together, you create expectations. And if you can't fulfill those expectations, the consequences can be devastating. A woman who trusts your word begins to doubt you when your actions don't match your promises. She loses faith in your intentions and in you as a couple. This undermines the foundation of your relationship, because trust is a key element of any strong bond. A smart man always thinks about his words before he speaks them. He knows that a promise is not just pretty words, but a commitment that needs to be fulfilled. When you promise your woman something and don't deliver, it can leave a mark on her heart. Even if it's about seemingly insignificant things like canceling plans at the last minute, all these little things add up to shape her perception of you. And if too many promises are not kept, it causes her to stop trusting your word. Stoicism teaches us to be sincere and responsible for our actions. A smart man realizes that it is better to make fewer promises but keep every one of them than to throw words to the wind. This is a demonstration of respect for yourself and your woman. When you make sure that your promises match your capabilities, you not only build trust in the relationship, but also create an atmosphere of respect. She will know that she can rely on you because every word you say is the result of your sincere intentions. In a relationship, it's important to remember that a woman appreciates not only the big actions, but also the small promises you keep. When you say you'll be there for her, be there for her. When you promise something, do it with full commitment. It's not just words. It's what shapes your future together. A smart man knows that his honor is his word. And if he can't keep his promises, it strikes a blow to his dignity and destroys the relationship. You don't have to promise the impossible to impress. It's better to be honest and realistic. She will appreciate you much more if she sees that you can recognize your limitations and tell the truth. This will show her that you are a man who values sincerity more than the desire to please. A man's real strength lies not in the number of promises, but in how much he is able to keep them. And a smart man always chooses quality over quantity. When you are honest in your promises, you show your maturity and responsibility. You show that you understand the importance of your words and that your actions always match your words. This makes you not only a reliable partner, but also an example for others. Your word should be unshakable, because it is the foundation not only of trust in a relationship, but also of your reputation as a man. You should not be afraid to be honest. If you know that you cannot fulfill some promise, it is better to admit it at once. This will show your wisdom and maturity. A woman will appreciate your sincerity much more than a beautiful lie. It is important to remember, relationships are built on the truth, not on illusions, and a smart man always chooses the truth, because he realizes that only in this way you can build a strong, long-term relationship. In a relationship, sometimes there are times when circumstances change and you can't fulfill a promise you made earlier. In such situations, it's important to explain this to your partner. Be honest and offer an alternative. When you talk openly about your difficulties and offer solutions, she will understand and appreciate your sincerity. But if you simply avoid fulfilling a promise or try to hide your mistakes, it destroys trust and creates tension. Stoicism teaches us to admit our mistakes and take responsibility. A smart man knows that it is better to admit that he made a mistake or miscalculated his strength than to try to make excuses or cover up his failures. It is a show of real strength to be honest and willing to correct your mistakes. A woman who sees this will respect you even more, because she realizes that you are a man who can be relied on even when things go wrong. Remember, your word is your greatest asset. Don't throw away promises you can't keep. And if you make a promise, do your best to keep it. That way you will not only be a reliable partner, but also a man you can trust. In conclusion, we want to emphasize one important point. A smart man is not someone who never makes mistakes, but someone who is willing to learn and change. It is important to remember that every mistake is a chance to become better, stronger, more insightful in a relationship. If you want to build a harmonious relationship based on mutual respect and understanding, start with these 7 principles. Reconsider your actions. Perhaps you are already on the right path. Perhaps this video will help you avoid unnecessary problems and keep the love that is worth fighting for it. Subscribe to our channel if you are interested in topics about success, self-development, and Stoic philosophy, which can radically change your thinking and approach to life. Give us a like if this video was useful for you, and write in the comments what you think about how to build a healthy relationship. We appreciate every response, because it is thanks to you that we continue to create content that inspires and teaches. Don't forget, every step towards understanding yourself and others makes you wiser and stronger. Your future is in your hands.